Sorry, I'm just so thirsty for Fallout content. I just came back from the Sahara, the Mojave, sorry, not the Sahara, and I found something for you all. I found a Fallout update. May not be the one that we're all looking for, but I found something to satiate us, to quench our thirst. And so join me as we talk about the Fallout TV show. Now, we're also going to talk about games in this video. We're going to talk about the remasters and when we may see them, and also a cool fan remake. But we're going to talk about the Fallout TV show. I do know this is going to be something I want to talk about on my channel come the release of this show. I just know how I am. So I figured, let's round up everything that's happened with the show in the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of news popping up with it. The filming has apparently begun, and with that, I think I have an idea of when we may see our first trailer for the Fallout Amazon TV show. With that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're looking to quench your thirst, just like your boy and talk about Fallout, we'll find any excuse, any reason for that. Consider subscribing. With that, let's talk about this TV show. Okay, let's start off with what the Fallout show producer had to say about the vibe, the feeling of the show. And we'll even get into some potential New Vegas vibes. Project Hondo? I don't know, man. We have a lot to sift through, so let's get started with the producer comments where they say that the vibe of the show is it's gonzo, crazy, funny, adventure, and a mindfuck like nothing you've ever seen before, she told the site, adding that she thinks it's pretty cool and it's a project she's passionate about. Now, I don't know what gonzo means. You can Urban Dictionary that one. I'd like to say here at the age of 27 that I'm pretty hip, but then again, as I near 30, I imagine that'll drastically change for me and I'll have an existential crisis. So that is kind of the vibe of the show, which, I mean, they didn't mention any type of like dark humor, but sounds Fallout to me, I guess. Obviously, seeing is believing, but they've made a lot of casting choices since then. Complete transparency, and I know none of you will be surprised by this, but yeah, Matty doesn't happen to be a television film expert. I'm very, extremely casual about this stuff. You're going to see the filthy casual energy throughout this entire video, perhaps a lack of thoroughness compared to what you're used to with my video game coverage, which we'll still have in this video. But yeah, I'm going to talk about some of these actors and actresses. We could talk voice actors and actresses all day long. I got you there. But some of these names, I don't know who the hell they are. That's no disrespect to them. Maybe you do. But I think it's important context because within the reports from Deadline and Variety, we get some character details and we can start to paint a picture of what the story, the setting may be based off LinkedIn job listings. So there's a lot here to piece together. So join me on this adventure. Let's start off with some of the major castings. At the top of the year, the first casting that was revealed was Walton Goggins. And it was written within the Variety article that Amazon had no comment on the character Goggins will play in the series. However, according to sources, he will play a character based on the ghoul from the games. Now, I don't know if this is offensive to say, but like, just looking at his smile, I could see it. I'm like, yeah, this guy's got some ghoul energy. I don't know if that's insulting. It's not like he's ugly or something. I'm not saying that, but like, yeah, he's got the ghoul smile. So I could see, like, do we have Harold here maybe? I don't know. And then we have Ella Purnell, who joins the show alongside Walton Goggins. And it said inside this article from Deadline that she is believed to be playing the lead character referred to as Jean, a young woman with a can-do attitude who may be hiding a dangerous secret. Now, I was thinking to myself, like, we have a major ghoul character traveling alongside a major vault dweller, soul survivor type character. Why am I getting these Fallout 4 vibes? Look at these next three casting choices and tell me you don't see what I see. So it was reported by The Variety. They say that Amazon series cast Kyle MacLachlan, Zelia Mendez-Jones, and Aaron Moten for the Fallout TV show. The article says that the trio joining alongside Ella Purnell and Walton Goggins will not have any details attached to them on who they're going to be playing. It's going to be kept under wraps. But for me, from left to right, I am looking at Father, Piper, and then, of course, Preston Garvey. To me, what I'm starting to see here, just based off some of the castings, is potentially like a retelling of Fallout 4. That is where my guess lies. However, given that there is some Mojave energy here throughout some of the filming set locations and even the code name for this show, I doubt myself. And I'm personally hoping for something more original, but I don't know, like after seeing how people have reacted to Rings of Power, I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm really confident this is going to go swell. So let's get into settings. Let's get into locations, because I think that will kind of firmly root us in the lore of Fallout and help us deduce what may be happening here. So it was leaked over on LinkedIn that the Fallout TV job listings would show that the filming would begin next month. This was posted in May, so by this point in time, if it's to be true, then filming has already started. And according to the job listing for stunt performers, filming for Amazon's Fallout TV show will start next month, June 20th. That's my birthday. The filming will take place in New York City, giving us some idea of what games the show will draw inspiration from, which I don't know what they were thinking writing this, because no games have New York City in Fallout, but I digress. So we have some extra details, a little additional context, because there was someone over on Reddit claiming to work on the set where Fallout was being filmed for New York City. And here's what they had to say, and it could be some interesting context for the conversation, where they say, it's already started out west, I think Montana, for all the exterior scenes. They have 3 massive stages in Brooklyn where they built the vault sets. I'm working next door and took a peep inside. Looks amazing, just like the games, down to the switches on the walls. Then finally, they have the volume built at Gold Coast out on Long Island. And then one last question is about whether or not the show will be pre or post-apocalyptic, to which this person says, I'm not on the show, don't worry, I didn't sign an NDA. I know for sure they're shooting wasteland stuff in the desert. I would imagine they're going to show some pre-war stuff as well, which I think would be one of the internal sets, so maybe that's what's happening over in Long Island. Now, continuing on here to get a clear vibe of what this show may be, right? We're talking about places out west. It says the job listing, which was spotted by Cosmic Circus, didn't give us too much to go on, but does come with some interesting tidbits. Despite publicly stating that the stunt performers will be working on the Fallout show, it still uses the working title Hondo. It's possible then that Fallout is not the show's final title and will be given a subtitle to differentiate itself from the games. It's definitely going to have Fallout in it, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Like, I would be stunned if they called it The Wasteland. You want to tie it to Fallout. Otherwise, it's just another crummy post-apocalyptic show. And at least if it's just that, to many people, the Fallout IP could elevate it for many viewers. So I feel like they're going to use the Fallout name. We'll see how they use it. Like maybe Fallout, Tales of a Wasteland or something like that. I don't know. But Hondo, key word here, I feel. Now, I know in video games, code names are typically used to mask the identity of the game. And honestly, most times, outside of, I think when we've talked about Xbox, Project Shaolin sounds kind of on the money for a game that's tied into the Wu-Tang Clan and whatnot. But most times, these code names, I feel, don't seem to resemble anything close to what the project is, because they're supposed to be, you know, surprises for the gamers. So when it comes to film and TV, I don't know if it's the same, but when they use Hondo and you look that up, it turns out Hondo is a 1950s Western romance. And I don't know, a lot of people were starting to think New Vegas, right? The 50s, that's where the Fallout music lies. You know, you have Montana involved as a potential filming location for exterior scenes. So we're out west. Is this going to be some type of spiritual successor to maybe New Vegas or something created in the vein of New Vegas? I think just going out west would make sense. If you're going to pay homage to Fallout, I know really when you look at the whole series from start to finish, Fallout 3 is what really put it on the map, these East Coast Fallout games. But traditionally, Fallout 1 and 2, New Vegas, like these were all rooted in the West. Fallout 1 and 2 specifically, like where it started, was a story told on the West Coast of the United States. So to me, I think it makes sense that if you're trying to introduce, like that's the idea here, is bring new eyes to the franchise, you want to bring them to what the series originally was, which I know would be kind of surprising given Bethesda's MO, but this is what happens when you have a lot of other cooks in the kitchen and you're letting them work on your IP. They're going to take it different places. Bethesda's known to work on the East Coast, and pretty much it seems like everyone else goes to the West Coast. So it is what it is, but this is something to kind of spin your wheel on a little bit. And while we're talking about New Vegas, I want to connect everything together in just a moment about when we may see this Fallout TV show for the first time, but also some game stuff. But first and foremost, I wanted to show you all briefly something that's been sent to me a couple of times this week, which is this Fallout fan remake of New Vegas. and it's in Unreal Engine 5. Now, this comes from a YouTube channel that does a lot of concept trailers, like they did one for Red Dead Redemption, GTA, so on and so forth, and they sort of make these what-if trailers that are pretty cool, and I thought many of you would appreciate what you see here. For me, it's nice to see a shiny BGS game, but I don't know if I'm just like a creation engine stan deep down in my core, but there's something about the janky look of a Bethesda Game Studios game that I kind of like. And I think seeing a very pretty New Vegas versus what we're seeing here in this Unreal Engine 5 trailer, granted it's pretty quickly slapped together in the scheme of things, I may have a preference, perhaps subconsciously, at that. So I just want to share this with all of you. Maybe you'd find it cool. They don't really show any gunplay or anything. It's just exploration, walking around and getting a vibe for the wasteland. But I mentioned how I feel all this is going to connect together. Of course, this year is Fallout's 25th anniversary. What we saw at the Xbox Bethesda showcase, if that was to be their celebration for Fallout's 25th anniversary, to me was completely unacceptable. I'm sorry. I can put some respect on 76 for the people who like it, who enjoy it. I'm not here to tell you what you can like and dislike, but to me, you got to read the room and understand people don't care as much about 76 as they do the rest of the franchise. And look, Bethesda's still defensive about it, right? When they did their extended showcase with Pete Hines interviewing him, he's like, look, yeah, we're painfully aware of what the game was at launch. We're also painfully aware of what it's become. Like, they're still on the defense about it all these years later. So they got to be able to read the room and know, like, if we're going to celebrate this anniversary, this ain't enough. Of course, you all know I've beat the drum loudly. This is the year for remasters, and I haven't given up hope, okay? Because I feel like what would actually be a pretty solid celebration of the anniversary of Fallout, a multimedia celebration, would be, here's your TV show trailer, here's Fallout 76 The Pit for our live service game, and here's your remasters. Now, all of that sounds well and good. I think a Fallout TV show trailer could happen this year, given its filming, that they could put together something to tease fans, because all we have right now is just an announcement of, hey, it's happening. So I look at QuakeCon. I think this year for QuakeCon is going to be huge for Bethesda, right? You have Starfield announced. If you look at Fallout 4, it got brand new content released at QuakeCon. That's sort of Bethesda's convention, right? And that does bring up the interesting conversation of, well, Xbox is going to be over at Gamescom. Will we see Starfield there? I think not. I think you reserve the Bethesda stuff for the Bethesda-focused convention. Now, last year at QuakeCon, the first day of QuakeCon, we learned about Skyrim Anniversary Edition. For its 10th anniversary, Bethesda put together a sort of remastered package of Skyrim for next-gen consoles, being the Series X and the PS5, and included all of the Creation Club content. This year, we have QuakeCon online again, just like last year, just a day earlier, August 18th, going to the 20th. And I think what better way to celebrate than day one saying, hey, it's Fallout's 25th anniversary, and here's what we're doing to celebrate. And that would be maybe Fallout 3 New Vegas in a combo pack, remastered and re-released to the fans. That would be beautiful. But as reality sinks in, as I take a deep breath, I try to remove my excitement for the franchise and take it as it is, which many times lately is disappointing. I recognize that probably what makes more business sense for Bethesda is, I hate to say it, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. And it has all the Creation Club content packaged in. It's kind of there waiting to be done. It's tough for me to argue when you have FPS boost existing and Fallout 4 is relatively new. 2015 doesn't need to be re-released. I know 4 years before that, we have Skyrim. We've gotten like 3 or 4 versions of that, if not many, many more, of course, but on like new consoles. So maybe I'm just fooling myself there. To me, the sensible decision is like bringing back the old ones that need to be revived, not the one that's already accessible. But Fallout 4 was, love it or hate it, the most popular Fallout game. I think many people would happily spend $60 on it again and get some new content out of it. And I could see Bethesda being willing to resell that. I just feel like these two alone, the TV show and the pit, are not enough. Not because as a fan, it's what I want, but I feel like you got to have the trifecta, like something to round it all out. A proper callback, a nostalgic callback to celebrate the franchise. I mean, hey, what would be more amazing to me is like finally getting Fallout 1 and 2 over to consoles and just letting people see those games for what they are. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm very much like everyone else. I like the Bethesda style Fallout experience, but Fallout 1 and 2 are amazing video games. Like, do not kid yourself. There's a reason why Bethesda had interest in the first place, and it's because they're amazing, moody, atmospheric, hilarious video games. So to get access to those on current consoles would be awesome. Think about what they did with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. The idea of taking Fallout 1 and 2 and giving them a similar treatment would be really, really nice to see. But that, I think, is the more old school fan of me speaking. Like, man, that would be a real treat for fans. And I don't know if Bethesda's kind of got the vigor to do something quite like that. I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. But I just feel in my gut, QuakeCon will know whether or not there's more to show for the Fallout anniversary. If there's not, you will hear from me either way, because either I will be screaming my head off at what they are announcing in excitement, or I'll be screaming my head off at, you really just did this for your 25th anniversary of your most popular franchise. That's the other thing. I love Elder Scrolls. I really do. But Fallout is that guy. That's just my thoughts on where the Fallout franchise may be trending, a little speculation to cap off the video. But overall, what's happening with the Fallout TV show, this cool New Vegas remake in Unreal Engine 5, and perhaps what we'll see at QuakeCon. With that, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about everything I had to say in this Fallout-focused video? Fire away in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.